Good evening and welcome to Sports Nightly. I'm Henry Goodwin here with the Sports Ticker. Nebraska Volleyball was ranked number 1 in the nation in the preseason ABCA coaches poll. Penn State fell in at number 2, followed by Pittsburgh, Louisville, and Texas in that order. In hour 2 of Sports Nightly, we'll hear from first-year head coach Dani Busboom Kelly from a press conference she did earlier today. Last night, the Husker soccer team kicked off their season with an exhibition game against South Dakota State, that game ending in a 0-0 tie. Now, their exhibition campaign continues with the home matchup against Colorado State here in Lincoln this Friday before their official season starts on the 14th. Admission for that game is free for all fans. In the MLB, currently the Astros are trailing against the Marlins in Miami. That game is in the top of the 7th. And then the A's are in D.C. to take on the Nationals. That game is scoreless midway through the 2nd. This has been our Sports Ticker. Now, get ready for 2 hours of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
70 shoot high lob, caught by Petrie somehow underneath, in trouble, got to Hank for 3, Gotcha! Huskers made something out of nothing. I don't know how Petrie got it to Kellen Hank, who buried the Central Valley Egg 3.
Dice has the sign. He collects the 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Casey Dice finishes it for Nebraska. The dog pile is on. The Nebraska Cornhuskers have run the table and run it back. Back-to-back Big Ten tournament champions.
Pass made Franklin, the slide, Robinson, block back! Call the grandkids! They did it! Nebraska sweeps Wisconsin for the 3rd time this season. And hello, Louisville! The Big Red back where it belongs. The Final Four, number 18 in school history.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome into a full 2 hours of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network, joined once again by Kyle Crooks. Off the top of the show, and just a little tidbit for you. Kyle stumbled across the bougie coffee machine here on the second floor, and you're kind of crashing a little bit. You were Ric Flair wooing earlier.
I was so excited to see that machine. So it's a similar one that's upstairs on the floor above us in the admin level, and they're slowly putting this break room together. There's boxes for microwaves and toaster ovens and all this different thing, and then almost like this shining light. It's like when Harold and Kumar went to White Castle and they finally found White Castle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you'll have to watch that movie. I am struggling over here. But I was looking and I saw this big, beautiful machine that has so many different flavors of coffee and cappuccinos and lattes. And so I had a French vanilla coffee today, and it was good for about a half an hour, and then I had crash.
There were a lot of fired up people on this floor today that found the coffee machine.
There was a lot of people that just had cups, and the problem is that the pour is not calculated, or we don't have the right cups right now. So the certain
overflows.
cups by a lot. Like
Did
it's
you
not
just,
even
stick
close.
your head underneath there and start chugging?
Burning hot. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm not making a mess. So I had to go to our bathroom here on this floor, get some paper towels and wipe down the whole place because we didn't have the right size cups.
How many flavors are there? Are you gonna experience them all, or are you only a French vanilla kind of guy?
No, I mean I'll experiment a little bit. There was something called the chocolate shot in there that I think we might have to. You're not a caffeine person, which is
I'm not, and Damon's not either. Damon's not a coffee guy either. So you're flying solo. I think Ben drinks coffee, but
you do energy drinks
sometimes. Yep, I do.
But that's even
Worse?
Some of that stuff's terrible. So at least caffeine is based in
when
nature.
I'm going on 4 hours of sleep, I'm yep, I better get one of those. But
yeah,
sometimes I don't even know if I feel anything from it though. It's a problem.
I tell you what. Caffeine does, for the most part, does nothing for me now. If anything, it makes me more tired and more dreary. So at least today, the excitement of having that machine gave me the burst for about 10 minutes, and then I was just...
You're about as fired up as I've ever seen you for about 15 minutes there.
I was
You
fired
really,
up.
it was like Christmas morning when you found that coffee machine.
It's just amazing. There's so many. It's like Step Brothers, the movie Step Brothers. There's so many possibilities. So when they talk about the room, I don't know if you've seen that movie. If not, we need to have a conversation. But there's so many possibilities with this brand new coffee machine that is now right down the hall from our offices.
Well, speaking of Damon and coffee, he's going to join us here in just a few minutes. He was down here today. We actually had our production meeting with the whole crew talking about the broadcast, and that was fun. Getting closer and closer when we have those kinds of meetings, breaking down the whole 11-hour broadcast.
It's amazing to see how long this, and I've been told that it used to be even longer. Like we had to trim it down to 11 hours, but today we went segment by segment, just sort of going through, because in my vantage point, so I have the veterans around me, you know this broadcast like the back of your hand.
I know certain parts of it because the ones that I'm involved in, but the other parts I don't know as well.
Especially
but the other
Ben
guys
and
do.
Damon's show, like Ben and Damon, they have such a good groove now in their Husker Game Day, their 2-hour deal. So, Ben was going over what they want to do with that show. Damon, same thing, and Damon's on the air for about like 6 hours that day on any given game day. So it was good to see Coatney. Like you don't see a lot of these guys a lot. Like we were talking to Damon before. We wish he could be here every day or at least come in once a week. But once the season starts, you only really, besides me and you, I mean, we see each other every day because we have offices next to each other and we do the show.
Next door neighbors.
So you'll probably get sick of me by like September 10th. But the rest of the crew, you only get to see them once a week, which is sad.
Yeah, I know. So it's fun. It's fun to get caught up with everybody and start talking the broadcast, and we're getting closer and closer with that. So tonight, football holding a night practice, and this is something that they started doing, I believe, like a couple years ago when Coach Will got here. But practicing in the morning, but during fall camp, maybe practicing at night, getting a feel for being under the lights if need be, but just different variations of variables that you might experience on a game day. And tonight they're going to be practicing under the lights.
Yeah, that's a great point, because that's exactly why they do it. You need a different schedule, a different buildup. You think about it, Kansas City, that's going to be an 8 p.m. Central game, so there's going to be a lot of downtime for that first game, and even the second game against Akron, that's a nighttime kick as well. So you have to mix things up in fall camp as to what that schedule is going to look like. I'm sure when these players come in, you have to go through treatment. You have your meal schedule and certain things, as opposed to what predominantly most of camp is you're getting up and going. Like you're getting up super early, getting your taping done, and then you're going at it. I hope soon to be able to be there for maybe more of a practice that is more of a live scrimmage. Most of it is a scrimmage, so whenever that may be, look forward to watching that. But you're right, you got to get acclimated to getting those late kickoffs, and that's the way to do that here. With every once in a while during the week, you'll see a 6:30, 7 o'clock start.
I actually did. Is there a limit to the scrimmages you can hold in fall camp?
I think it's 2.
Yeah.
2. I know padded practices is 9. I think scrimmages is probably, I think it's 2.
Got to think probably maybe coming up this weekend.
Yeah, that would be the thought, right? So at the end of week 2, I would imagine Saturday. I know they practice in the morning. Maybe it's Saturday, and if I ever find that out, it's not something that I would make public. You just more show up and you figure it out as you go. And that's what we mentioned yesterday. Week 3, right? That's the line of delineation when you start to carve out roles, as opposed to it being, I'm sure it's still more of a competition at certain positions when you hit that 3rd week, but first 2 weeks, because these guys are working out during the summer. You have spring, and they're together a little bit during OTAs and some of those player-led sessions, and so they're around each other a bunch, and they have an understanding of what they have and what the competitions are and maybe who has a leg up heading into when they report on whenever it was July 28th. So at the end of this week, the presumption would be that they have a really good idea of who has the leg up at certain spots, and the scrimmages, I'm sure, would solidify that.
And they've been competing and going ones-on-ones, and I guess it's more maybe situational and certain drills and all of that, but like a full game-like scrimmage, I guess, is what we're referring to here. But, I think, and Coach Rule has talked about this too, but just when you experience a little bit of practice and just the standards that they expect in everything that they do. And so when they're going through maybe some of these certain situations, and even Dylan talked about that back in the spring about making sure the finish was the big word. We're going to finish. And so every little, whatever kind of situation you might be in, every scenario that they're kind of trying to work through and go through, they want to make sure they're doing it at the highest level so that if game time comes around, they know how to execute it.
There's so many variations of what could happen in a game, and it's really hard as a coach. And that's what John Butler said yesterday. Now, being as a defensive coordinator, you have to map out practice as opposed to having all of these. You have to be more of a CEO of a defense as opposed to having all these individual relationships and you're around these individual drills. But as a coach or a coordinator, you have to almost think of it as a 30,000-foot view of what are all the machinations of what could happen in a single game. And how do we rep that? How do we diagnose what we're not good enough at yet? How do we diagnose what we're good at and get even better? So there's so many things. Like you ask a coach, and now we know they don't have as many padded practices. They don't have 2-a-day practices. How can we maximize to the absolute fullest these 2.5 hours that we have, and especially when you have a padded practice or a practice where they have shoulder pads? How do we maximize all of these different situations? How do we maximize as being as physical as we possibly can to make sure that we can guard against injuries when it comes to the season and being ready for the marathon of a season? So much for this entire staff to have to fit into until you head into late August and the start of the year.
And I think for both sides of the football, right? I mean, you hear sometimes certain programs that might be more beneficial towards one side of the ball or the other, but if you take into practice with Coach Rule, I mean, they are making sure that both sides are getting the kind of work that they need to be at their fullest.
Yeah, it's really fun, too, when you look at the individual skill and the individual periods that they have, and then they break out. You'll have 7-on-7. You really get a good idea of what this skill looks like. And it's hard to necessarily diagnose, at least from my perspective, who is winning the day, right? Because the whistle blows pretty early and you're not tackling people to the ground and you're stopping the plays a little bit early. Again, you're guarding against injury. So for me, who doesn't necessarily have the same eye as a Coach Rule, John Butler, Dana Holgerson, sometimes it's hard, or like Jeremiah Sirles, who says, this group's definitely winning the day. Like when we talked to him the other day, it's hard for me to diagnose who's exactly winning each practice. But it's a lot of fun to watch these guys and see what the potential is going to be when you see them in individual settings and then they break out into 7-on-7 and then 11-on-11 is this whole different animal that gets you really fired up.
So the guys in the chat, somehow Jeremiah got the name Big Dog, and so we called him Big Dog.
That's
kind of his.
You could see that.
He's a big dog. So we just go by Big Dog, and they've been asking when he's going to make an appearance soon. He's going on vacation, one last vacation with the family, and then when he gets back, we're going to do a couple pods, sideline slices leading into kickoff. We're going to do probably 2, and so glad to have Valentino's back as a great partner and sponsoring that podcast. So he'll be on soon. He's also very much adamant that he is going to participate in the pick segment as well.
Okay,
which we'll start that as well. You'll have to.
Is that as competitive as the golf picks?
Yes, more so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And we have a crown. The students actually won last year because I was hot on their heels, and I went in. I could have tied them, but I went in to win it. And so I think I ended up finishing 3rd. But, I won back-to-back years, and then Greg won, and the students won last year. So I'm coming back for that crown. But Sirles is going to be back for that as well. But I don't know if I said this on the air or not. We talked about it. But it's so funny. Sirles, whenever we go to practice or he's on the sideline for a game or a scrimmage, whatever, you know right where to find him. And even if the size out of the picture, you know where you can find Jeremiah Sirles. It's in the O-line corner, and it is like a magnet. He went straight there. And, he's talking to Coach Raiola, and all the offensive linemen, they speak the same language. But he was, said this on Monday. He was fired up about that group. He's really excited. And he was, I thought a couple times you and I were going to have to keep him from running out there on the field.
Yeah, he was doing like his pass blocking motions. Offensive linemen, like out of nowhere, they'll just do the thing with their hands and they'll pass block.
And and the footwork.
Yeah, so his footwork's still very, very good. But you're right, he was locked in. As the offensive line is in the indoor and then the rest will be on the 2 grass fields, he was locked in to the indoor portion. And he did say this, I'm sure he'd be comfortable with me sharing. He said, we're better. We're better on the offensive line. So when you hear that from somebody like him.
Sirles, yeah.
Who, like you've said, and I'm sure he would agree to this, isn't as optimistic or as positive maybe as some other people are, and it takes a lot for him to say something like that. He said flat out, we are much better this year.
Yeah, he's just, I guess maybe he calls himself more of a realist. Sometimes I call him he's a pessimist, but he's not throwing out compliments unless they're earned. And so, I don't even think this is going too far out there either. It has been talked about, even Coach Rule has brought this up from when he got here. There weren't enough bodies in that room. They did not have the numbers on the offensive line. Sirles has been saying that for several years now, that just the depth is not where you want it to be. And so when you go out, when a guy like Sirles goes out there and sees that the depth is finally there, because it just does not happen overnight. You cannot build that in the portal. It just is not a position that you can just supplement like that. You have to build it from within, and so it just takes time. And so since I've been here, this is the first time that I think Sirles feels really confident in having, not just in the starters, but in the second group, and even he liked some of those young guys too that he saw out there.
Yeah, I think, and not to go too deep in the weeds here with the offensive line, but outside of the main group of guys that have been around but have dealt with injuries, so the Prohaskas, the Corcorans, and then we know, Gatula, could he possibly start? And then you obviously have the guys that we've talked about a million times. But Gibson Pyle, I think, has had a really good fall camp, and I think that's somebody that if they needed him to have some reps in a big situation, maybe you could see him at a guard spot. Sam Sledge, who has gotten a lot of run at that backup center position, if you needed him not just maybe as a center, but you shift him over to guard if you necessarily needed him to be a guard. And, a lot of these guys could be interchangeable outside of the 3 at the center, Lutovsky, Evans, and Spindler. If Canuck doesn't win that right tackle job and you need him to fill in at a guard spot, maybe in a pinch with an injury, these are a lot of guys that are very, very versatile in what they can do. And
guys that had to do that in the spring because they were limited.
Yeah, didn't have anybody.
So they did play every position in the spring. So I think they'd be comfortable with this. Rudy in Florida on the text line has a suggestion for both of us. To Kyle and Jessica, no coffee, no energy drinks. Try honey added to water and a vitamin B12. Gives you a boost of energy. And I'm 80, so you guys are close to the Big Red nutritionist. Ask them. I know they would not be happy with my energy drink choices. So
yeah, I don't read that ingredient list on that energy drink.
I don't do it every day. I just do it like maybe once, twice a week if absolutely need be.
The thing about you, Jess, you have natural energy.
I do.
I do not.
Yeah.
Like I need a pick me up every day to just get the extra boost of to get on your level of just the natural energy that you have.
I only need it if I'm just have not had enough. I am one that I need my sleep, and I do have natural energy. I've always been that way, but if I am lacking in the sleep, then I can.
You have a dedicated bedtime every night?
I don't because it's weird with the job and sometimes
maybe in the summer.
And if I'm not home enough during the day, then Sunny will be bonkers until midnight, and so she'll be wanting to play fetch and won't settle it out. So, but it's more so not so much of when I go to bed. It's just that when I go to bed, I get the correct number of hours.
Yes. So you're a morning person.
Yes.
Damon's a morning person. I need to know this for the season, especially when we kick off at 11 a.m. Damon's a morning person, I would presume.
Yeah.
Ben could be either way.
Yeah.
Ben McLaughlin, would you say?
So Ben's up way earlier than us. So
yeah, he's got his full-time job. He's got 3 kids.
By the time we get to the stadium, Ben's already got a coffee or 2 in him, and he's ready to roll. He's got the booth set up, and so he's fired up for game day. So I don't know how he is immediately, you know, as much as when we get rolling at, like, even for like an 11 a.m. game when we get there at 6 o'clock or whatever, he's ready to go.
I don't think Ben has any perception of time right now with his third child being born. So he probably didn't know what day it was when we met earlier today, what time it was. So he's being a Superman at the current moment. And then we'll have to find out about Coody if he's a morning person. I'll tell you right now, I am a night owl. I'll be up till 2 a.m. I'll listening to games and watching games, but the morning, not my thing.
Cody's an all-day person. He's
Good.
like one of those people.
I'm jealous. I wish I could be that.
He hosts Big Red Reaction. He better be.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
You better be able to do it at 3 a.m. or 7 a.m., I guess. But Jim Briggs in the chat said, Kyle, I think you're starting to have Big Red blood run through you.
I love it. And I don't think I've gone a day without wearing something Huskers.
Hey,
and I love it.
Shout out Adidas.
Yes.
And Al, you got a haul.
I got the hookup, and I'm really excited. We talked when I got hired of this is what I'd been working for a very long time, and this place is just awesome when you're around like-minded people like yourself, like Damon, like Ben, and then like the other people that work here in digital and marketing that have the same passion for being great at something. I think and you're calling a team and a program that a lot of people love. So to me, I just love it.
Good stuff. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. All right, we got to get to a break. When we come back, Damon Benning going to join Kyle and me here for a segment on Sports Nightly. Keep it here.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Tanya Blaine in Norfolk, Grant Wilbeck in Omaha, or Bud Morrell in Okalala.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul, enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Kyle Crooks, Jessica Coody, and look who's back, Damon Benning. Are you in a better mood today, being that we're not taking a photo shoot?
It's probably still the same. I don't know. I feel good, so I'm just happy to be here. To be honest,
you're supposed to be the good energy guy. I'm the one usually who's in the bad mood. I think we'll figure that out. I'm usually the lower energy bad mood guy.
So the last 2 times, it's just been situational. 100% of the time, you're going to be right. Like I'm the easygoing, happy one.
You just don't like photos.
Yeah, photos were bad. Photos were bad, and then. With the guys not practicing until, now, tonight, it's like sitting around all day. I get bored.
Hey, we told you your Haikus wouldn't last. They didn't. They lasted maybe 2 days.
That's incredible. But I found you guys a new flavor.
Yeah, the dessert mix.
I have not seen.
I'm going to have to hide these in my office. And
I've got a little birdie at the location that I get them, and he notifies me when anything good comes in. He's a huge fan of the network, and so he's like what I'd call a P1, right? He listens. He knows more about us than I do, and he's like, hey, he'll just send a message. Hey, got a new flavor in it, fantasy mix or dessert mix or tropical sensation or sherbet or whatever, and so I go pick him up.
Make sure you thank him for me.
I will.
Next time. Hey, obviously now, over a week into this thing, I did, first of all, though, yesterday, Coach Butler, John Butler, was waiting. He's your guy. I know you think a lot of him.
Yeah.
And, just a little bit of a personality that you don't always see in front of the podium. We were laughing a little bit because at the fan day, one of the kids I had passed around the mic and let kids ask questions, and one of the kids asked Sierra Wright if he was going to finish top 5 in the Heisman. And, Sierra had fun with it, but I told Coach Butler that, and boy, he got a kick out of it, and he's like, let's not tell Sierra that.
Yes, if there's one thing we know about C-Dub, he is not short on confidence. And so I imagine, he probably put himself in the top 5.
He said top 1.
He said, well, might as well just go ahead and finish top 1 then, if I'm going to be top 5.
That sounds a lot
Fair to say his teammates started laughing after he said that around him.
Sierra would say that. Well, those guys have a bunch of fun with each other, don't they?
They do. How many steps do you think Coach Butler gets in a day?
A lot. He reminds me, now they're different philosophically in terms of what they like to run and how they do it. But when you talk about like a teacher, intense, always on the field, kind of, everything's a teachable moment. He has some Bo tendencies to him. When you watch him practice, he's constantly delivering information. Coaches are weird. Sometimes they wait till you get on, on the film room. Sometimes they coach it up on the fly. Sometimes you're on a clock, like, hey, we want to move quick, so we coach it on the fly. He's constantly teaching. Gives me some, and they both are real high-level thinkers. Very analytical. So he gives me some Bo vibes in terms of how much and how active he is at a practice. He's busy.
Yeah.
He's busy as the overseer. But the cool thing about these guys is I think they take pride in knowing, I think the D-line takes pride in knowing what the second level does in terms of their run fits. Obviously, the third level's got to know it all. But I think the coaches like knowing what everybody's doing, too. This is this smartest staff without, sometimes you can compartmentalize. D-line guys like just D-line, right? But they're so versatile. They know what everybody's doing. It's kind of cool.
He said 25K, by the way. That's the answer. Steps.
Really?
25,000 steps.
That's what he hits most days.
I would guess. Is he a walker to practice?
Yes,
to the facility?
and then he'll get up and walk. And
Dana's a walker too.
Yeah,
Dana walks to Memorial every day.
He's nuts. He needs to walk.
He needs to walk it out.
Yeah, let him simmer down. But I bet you he gets 10,000 of those at practice.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No, I know, and that's I was saying even like on the sideline, like he moves around a lot too, like on a game day. So I was not surprised, but I mean that's
I like it. I was surprised just getting a chance to know him to the side. He's ridiculously competitive.
Yeah.
He's a Northeast. He's a hoops guy. He's the type that rather be caught with than without. So he just stays ready, right? He likes to be fit, and guys give him a hard time about hooping, and he's pretty competitive, which I think you can see when they practice and kind of what he demands. It's tough out there.
I want to ask you this, Damon. Defensively, I was thinking this driving in today. Secondary has the most that returns. Everybody talks about the veteran back end.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be shocked if I told you in November that there was another unit of this defense that performed better throughout the year than the secondary?
No, not at all. I don't even know if I would say that right now about the back end. They're the most experienced, but I don't know if I think they're playing the best right now. It's early and a lot could change. I thought Saturday they left a little on the cutting room floor on the back end, but no. Okay. I would. Depending on who you say, I don't know if I'd arm wrestle you. You're fit. I don't know if I'd arm wrestle you at all. But would I have to arm wrestle you over the position?
Well, the thing is, people say, I don't know if you looked at the comments in our Matt Rule interview. People say I look incredibly small compared to you guys.
No, but I can tell you like to.
He prioritizes going to the gym.
He looks like he gets his polos tailored. They're always tapered. I don't know if he just has one of those frames, but he looks like he gets them custom fit, like the officials on Sundays.
Yeah,
the big arm guys. Who would you guess it to be?
The best position group?
Yeah,
I would say probably the linebackers.
Yeah,
to me.
So they're interesting because they have. Somebody asked me earlier, a guy was underappreciated from a year ago that I think that they'll miss. And I immediately said John Bullock because Bullock was a guy they didn't have to take off the field. He was a good blitzer. He was good in the run game. He's good in coverage.
He got people where they needed to be.
He was he's very smart. And I don't know if I see, like right at first blush, the every down guy, right? I see good run fitters. I see guys that are good in coverage. I see really good natural pass rushers. I see good blitzers, Shavers Jr., guys like that. But they're still working towards the all three downs, could do everything kind of guy. But I think they have better depth.
I also think their ceiling is pretty high too.
Yeah, I think Coach Dvorak and Coach Simpson would agree. I think this is their best collection of talent at the position. Coach Dvorak made a living these first couple of years getting guys that from someplace else. He either got a converted safety, he got a couple of converted safeties in 2 years with Reimer and Bullock, but he's getting some naturals now to play the position. And so that's kind of where my man crush is on the defensive side. So I'm kind of excited because he's got some high-end guys, some young thoroughbred types. So, the Merritts, the Christian Jones, I'm curious to see what he does with a product like Watson Trent.
That's where I wanted to go. To me, I feel like I don't know if you can call him a wild card because he's a proven contributor, but at a smaller level, 6-year guy around the ball, 100-plus tackle seasons. But in the Big Ten, as a quote-unquote, I don't smaller guy, much smaller guy than what you see on the field. To me, he's a little bit of a wild card as to what does that production look like now in the Big Ten for him.
Yeah, that's a good call on the eyes joke. He probably doesn't think it's funny. I don't know if the staff would. He doesn't look like much when you look at him, right? Physically,
which might not mean a whole lot. I mean, he's a gamer, too.
But I will tell you one thing. Ask the guys. He's a thumper.
Yeah.
He gets to where he's going. He is a really good downhill run fitter. And sometimes with guys
he gets
like
guys to the ground.
Oh, he's decisive, right? He doesn't spend a lot of time him-hawing around. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I think he's probably the most natural of the inside guys when you talk about fitting in the run game. But both those guys, he and Bauer, a little short on the shorter side, but really good run pluggers.
So yesterday I talked to a couple of the defensive players, Riley Van Poppel, Elijah Jeudy, and both of them mentioned, and even Coach Butler mentioned this in his press conference, that they basically installed everything. Is that normal to have everything installed by now? And now how does that change what the defense does from here on out in fall camp?
I think the cool thing that these guys really took advantage of is the time that they get with the players in the offseason, right? And with iPads and install and, the video, the crew filming, getting stuff pumped to those iPads and in the system. It's like they're walking around with a playbook. And I can tell you firsthand, even like during breaks, whether it was the 4th of July or even Memorial Day. Which one's in the last in May?
Yeah, Memorial
Day. I always get Labor Day and Memorial Day confused. But
Labor Day is coming up.
Yeah. And I should know because it's college football, right? There's always a game. But guys taking tests, they're sent clips, to study and take tests over. So I don't think it's any coincidence that we've heard the coaches talk about, hey, it's not just, your physical stature, but a lot of playing depends on what you know and being where you're supposed to be. And I know they've worked at this a long time in the offseason.
Yeah, I think Terry Braden is a game changer, too, in that defensive line room. Just the experience he has in the NFL. This is where these guys are trying to go, to be in the NFL. That front three, so Cam, Riley, Elijah, what's behind that? So Jalen's starting to get a little bit healthier now. Keona just looks like a mass of a human. And then Williams Winery, who, when John Butler was asked about him yesterday, if he plays, and he stopped the reporter right away and says, no, he's going to play, and he's going to play a lot. Yeah. And you think about, I'm sure there was a decent amount of money that gets sent at a player like that is 5-star capability and has all the talent in the world. But I think there's a lot of, you hope it stays healthy, but I think there's a lot of depth on that defensive line. And then what I wanted to ask you about that jack position, so pass rush, McCullough, Ochoa, and McGahee, do you think that can be a strength?
I do, and I'd add Dylan Parrott in that defensive line, big, strong, he's hard to block. I think 4, 5, 6, 7 D-line will be what they can play. But I'm glad you brought up the Jacks because Jess and I used to we'd talk a ton, and he was a great interview. I remember one of the player profiles you did pregame with MJ Sherman, right? It's not just his diet and his philosophy and how regimented he is. He was a really good player. And I think while he wasn't necessarily always getting like splash plays and stuff, KC, he was very good at being that 4th D lineman. And so they're going to have to find one with the combination of those three. And I'd also add Maverick Noonan in, who I thought was fantastic on Saturday night, especially at the point of attack. He's kind of the one that's not like the others. He's big, strong. He's played with his hand in the dirt before, so he understands how to hold point. But between the 4 of them, and maybe it's situational, or maybe if you get a couple of pass rushers and you can get in the dime and 3rd and long, they joke about how you have to earn the right to rush the passer. You could see multiple guys play at the same time. We saw Ochoa come on like gangbusters, in December and during the Bowl practice last year. McCullen's he's proven that he can garner some snaps. Now, what they'll ask him to do is a little bit different. But shoot, if they play to his strengths, I could see all those guys having a role. And V9 may be about McGahee may be about is efficient a guy with his snaps, right? If he gets 20 snaps, he's probably going to have 7-8 factors, in terms of grades. So
he told me he wants 12 sacks this year.
So how is he to talk to? He's kind of intimidating just to be around. Everything he does is like with this intensity on his face. Sometimes you just want to tell him to kind of.
I don't know if Deshaun maybe is that way a little bit. Maybe that's something with pass rushers.
I don't know. Outside of Jess, a lot of those Oklahomans, I don't like to talk much.
He's not Oklahoman. He just came from Oklahoma.
Good point.
He's great. He's a older, smart guy. He's locked in. Just I guess maybe a veteran coming in kind of conversation you expect to have. I talked to Willis after the Ohio State game, and he just was like he played really well, but was really ticked off that they didn't win the game. So it's like he's.
You can tell he and Vincent and some of those guys that are used to doing things and having some success. It just doesn't sit well, and maybe going through a little bit of the highs and lows last year. Maybe that's why those guys are so serious, man. You just want to ask them like the Joker, like why so serious? Put a smile on that face.
I mean, Coach Rules talked about it. You talked about it. The young guys that they had coming in on they're used to winning, and they want to win. They're programmed to win. I think it's safe to say, though, as we dive through all this, it's probably going to be a lot of guys playing for the defense. They're going to rotate in a lot of guys at every position. Yeah, I think it's pretty fluid. I think, both those position groups. I think the secondary and the linebacking core, that the depth chart probably changes by the day, and D-line might be the most competitive. So, and they'd love to cycle through guys. I mean, we saw last year at Minnesota, they'd played 20, that's 2 years ago. They'd played 23, 24 guys at half. So the opener is always interesting because of these guys' experience, and I think they're going to try to wear Cincinnati down. Good stuff, TB. Are you going to come back next week? Yeah, I come back whenever you guys ask me. All right. I feel like I'm part of the team now.
Come back every day.
I'm new. I'm new like KC.
You'll be back next week. We told people at the start of fall camp you'd check in once a week. So.
Well, you told me in the off season that you think it would be a good idea if I was on Sports Nightly more. So I know what that means.
I'll get you some of my tailored polos too.
Yeah, man. I'm a little jealous.
Medium.
I'm just gonna keep wearing sleeves.
All right, good stuff. We got to step aside for a break. More of the show coming up after this.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that. which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See shelter agent Natalie Kerr in Lincoln, Michael Reeves in Omaha, or Julie Null in Plattsmouth.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. Jessica Coody got a couple of quick segments left for you here in hour number 1. Coming up, hour number 2, going to talk lots and lots of volleyball. The number 1 team in the nation headed into the season, the preseason number 1 here in Lincoln. So we're going to dive into all of that. Hear from Dani, Busboom, Kelly, who had a press conference today, so we'll dive into that. But some guys on the chat, Shane actually wanted to know what you and Damon are doing to build your chemistry leading up to game day.
Yeah, it's a good question, Shane. And I think it's a lot of stuff like we had in the last segment of just talking back and forth, knowing each other's talking cues. I think that's pretty important. I think when you listen to that first game in Kansas City, there's going to be moments where we're talking over each other, like learning that rhythm of how that's going to work. But I think just certain segments like that help. And I know Damon, when he has that mode of when he's doing a talk show as opposed to when he's doing a game, like those are two different skill sets, both that he has in spades. So it'll be different once game time comes as opposed to the conversation you just heard last segment.
You and I have talked a lot about this too. Just Damon's an easy person to build that chemistry with. Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that, he's done it a long time, but he's easy to get, that flow going with, and he can feed off of who he's with. So,
and don't tell him I told you guys this, but I'm he's brilliant. He's like a brilliant person, not just in football, but if you ever hear him talk on other subjects, he knows so much about all sports. Like, he's a baseball guy through and through.
Wrestling
he was drafted.
Guy.
He was drafted by the Pirates, I believe. So I think that's like his biggest passion is baseball. So, to me, what is most astonishing about Damon is you can bring up any subject, and I think he's going to have a really good knowledge of it, which is scary.
Yeah. He told the story he was mad at his dad for pushing him to football, but he's a guy. At least the last time we were having a discussion about Damon, I think he was mad. It was with Coatney and Ben. We were kind of giving him a hard time, but hey, we're being nice this segment.
Yeah, got to be nice every once in a while.
Always great to have him in studio. Okay, we got to get to break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Welcome back. Final couple minutes left here of hour number one of Sports Nightly. Mentioned we're going to talk lots of volleyball coming up next hour, but how about that red-white scrimmage? I know you're planning on going out there, but the number one team in the country headed into the season, the preseason number one.
Yeah, excited to be out there. I actually got my press pass for Saturday. For a while, I was asking you and I was asking others in the athletic department, I want to go to the scrimmage, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in. So do I have a pass? But yes, I got a pass earlier today, and yeah, really exciting. It's more of what we expected. You know, you lost some key pieces from the team last year. I think it's Nebraska always has a target on its back, but I think the target is as big as it's ever been. Preseason number one, Dani Busboom Kelly, who we'll play some of those cuts later on in the show, said that I don't even think she really knew that they were preseason number one until somebody told her today, like during the press conference. So whether that's a lie or not, I think that's sort of the ideology of what you have to take.
I think she was actually, because it was like 5 minutes. It was when that they had practiced, and then it was while she was making her way to the press conference. So she said, I figured we would be, but she was told for sure that she was during that press conference. So we're going to play that clip for you coming up. But yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think this is a program that expects that. They embrace that number one. So.
Some of the notes from that: 3 Big Ten in the top 10 in the preseason. It's the AVCA poll. Top 4 teams all in the national semis last year. Penn State right behind Nebraska, of course, the reigning national champions. That'll be a fun matchup when those two get together. Nebraska's going to play current number 2, number 3, 6, 7, and 8 in that preseason top 10.
Yeah, and opening it up with a bang with 3 and 6 on the opening weekend. So, it's nothing new. That's what Nebraska does. They schedule hard, and they're not afraid to play the best of the best and prepare for the Big Ten. Because Coach Cook always said it. It's sometimes harder to win a Big Ten title than it is a national title. So, we're going to talk lots more about that and hear from Dani Busboom Kelly coming up in hour number 2. Also, a conversation with Elijah Jeudy. So much more to come here on Sports. I think you headed out to practice?
Yes, heading out there right now.
All right. I guess it is not too hot today, so.
I hope not.
I don't know.
Because I'm not braced for that.
I feel like I haven't been outside much today, so enjoy it, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow.
All right, hour number 2, Sports Nightly, coming up after this.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person. It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience. J.D. Power ranked the team at Shelter Insurance #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region 6 out of the last 7 years. For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
See Shelter Agent Derek Hostert in Lincoln, Shelley Wheeler in Grand Island, or Jeff Florum in North Platte today.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Nightly. I'm Henry Goodwin here with the Sports Ticker. Nebraska Volleyball was ranked number 1 in the nation in the preseason AVCA coaches poll. Penn State fell in at number 2, followed by Pittsburgh, Louisville, and Texas in that order. Coming up in the show, we'll hear from head coach Dani Busboom Kelly in her press conference she did earlier today as she prepares to enter her first season with the Huskers. Last night, the Huskers soccer team kicked off their season with an exhibition game against South Dakota State, that game ending in a 0-0 draw. Now their exhibition campaign continues with a home matchup against Colorado State here in Lincoln this Friday before their official season starts on the 14th. For MLB scores, the A's and Nationals are still scoreless in D.C. That game is in the top of the 5th. Through 3 innings in Boston, the Royals trail against the Red Sox 1-2. In Atlanta, the Braves are tied with the Brewers 1-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. This has been our Sports Ticker. Now get ready for Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Pianto set first offering. That ball's driven up the middle. Coming around third is Dylan Carey. The throw is offline. The Huskers win it. The Huskers win it. Nebraska will march on.
Wing to the near side. Snap back. Has some time. Steps, throws down the field. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by Sierra Wright to the 30, 25, 20. Sierra down the near sideline. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska. Sierra Wright with a pick 6 for Nebraska. And the Huskers have taken the lead on the road.
Rimdahl, a couple of ball fakes, bounces into Prince at half court. And Prince is going to make a run on a falter. Steps back for 3 to tie the game. You betcha! Biggest shot of that freshman's young career. Timeout! We're tied at 75. Britt Prince is 19. She steps back and sticks a three-pointer, her 5th of the night.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Kyle Crooks, Jessica Coody, and look who's back. Damon Benning. Are you in any better mood today, being that we're not taking a photo shoot? And welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Nick Hanley joining us here, and we are going to talk some Husker volleyball. Big news day for volleyball. It dominated the news cycle, wouldn't you say, Nick?
It did. That's what happens when you get the number 1 ranking.
Yes.
Let the hype train begin. But I thought, was it a week or 2 weeks ago when Nebraska was named the preseason Big Ten favorite? So I thought, if you're the best conference in volleyball and the team that is picked to win the league, shouldn't they be picked to win the entire thing? So it makes sense. Now, hey, rankings are rankings, as we know, and any coach will tell you doesn't matter. They're going to have confidence in what they're doing, but we'll see if it's the number next to you at the end of the year, as we know. I'm trying to get every cliche I could possibly think of right now.
Absolutely. Look, it is what it is, but this is a team that, and unlike maybe some other teams that might, I don't want to say be like, they're embracing it, right? I mean, I think that's where this program is, and the kind of players that they have is that they're not shying away from that. They want to hold on to that number 1. Now, maybe not throughout an entire season, but they want it back. They want that number 1 at the end of the season. And so they're not going to shy away from the fact that they're number 1 right now. That's where they want to be at the end.
And this is the difference between, I think, Nebraska and other programs, that sometimes if maybe you do get that preseason ranking that is very flattering, that is maybe more of a surprise, that you try to ignore it a little bit. You try to not address that elephant in the room. And I understand that. I understand why coaches would say, hey, you know what, cool, but let's not dwell on that. Let's really try to earn that. And so you don't talk about it a lot. Nebraska is a program that does hold themselves. They are one of, I think, a handful of programs that hold themselves to that standard of, if we're not one of the last 4 teams standing at the end of the season, what did we do wrong? Where did this thing go wrong? To us, to our standard, that's not acceptable. And I think that is where Nebraska looks at it and says, this is good, but we should be, because this is what we build for. This is the program that we feel we have now put out there for decades, and why Nebraska continues to get the recruits that they get and continues to really help elevate the game is what this program has been able to do consistently on a winning basis. So I just think that ability to look at that, to acknowledge it, to embrace it, and then to let that drive you, just the same as if you were a team that felt you should be ranked in the top 25 and you weren't, is going to drive you, because people you might think are sleeping on your chances of winning a national championship or being a top 10 team. I think both of those are going to drive these types of players. It just depends on what type of program, the trajectory of your program you have right now. And like I said, I think Nebraska is one of maybe a handful of teams that they're going to look at that number 1 ranking, and they're probably going to say, we're not surprised, we should be.
Right. So it is for the first time since 2022 that Nebraska is the preseason number 1. I got this from the article on NCAA.com, but the AVCA preseason number 1 in the preseason has gone on to win the national championship 33% of the time. How about that?
Yeah, and so that right there kind of shows you, remember how we always do this with college football, and we're always looking at the preseason top 25, whether it's the AP or the coaches poll, and we're thinking, okay, where did the preseason rankings have it right and where did they have it wrong? And it seems like more times than not, especially teams 25 through 10, it's wildly inaccurate. And, top 10 teams, some are able to, there's the no-brainers like the Georgias of the world and even what we've seen with Ohio State, and Alabama, but then, you see some newcomers, and then you see some teams that were in the top 10 that don't even, finish in the top 25. I think usually in volleyball, that top 10, I would say more times than not, that preseason is pretty consistent to what you see at the end of the season as far as the elite caliber type of teams.
Okay, so some of the big kind of notables from this preseason volleyball top 25. So 7 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 25. Nebraska, Penn State go 1, 2. Pitt is number 3, which is who the Huskers open up with on the 22nd of this month inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. It's part of that AVCA first serve. Then they turn right around and play Stanford on that Sunday. Stanford coming in at number 6. How about Louisville in at number 4? And I just think it's one of the cool storylines that Dani Busboom Kelly comes here and takes over this program, and it just the way it doesn't happen like this, right? Where it just was so smooth, but then everybody's left happy. And, that's she talked about in her media availability at the Big Ten. The media days that she turned it over to one of her best friends and Dan Meskey, and just that Louisville's still coming in at number 4 despite Dani Busboom Kelly leaving that program. I think that's one of the cool storylines in sports this year, because it doesn't always happen that way where both programs are in such a good state.
Yeah, exactly, because you would think that if a coach like that, like Dani Busboom Kelly, who left a program that was really right there on the national power scale, that there would be some reeling after that happened. And I credit Louisville for having the foresight of understanding that this day was probably coming. And so they had their contingency plan. So good on them. Just like Nebraska knew at some point John Cook is going to move on. What more can he really do? The guy has done everything at this sport and leading this program. So Nebraska knew what their contingency plan was going to be and what they were going to do to succeed. So I think that there are very similar methods here. You mentioned the schedule too, and going back to that, again, I understand this is a preseason top 25 poll, but this is where, again, I think the sport of volleyball continues to elevate, because when you look at some of your best teams in the country, Nebraska obviously being one of them, and some of your biggest attention getters when it comes to television, that you have some of the most competitive non-conference schedules involving so many of these teams, that you can look at the preseason number 1 that is playing 7 top 15 teams and 11 top 25 teams, that right there is another reason why I think this sport is on the fast track of popularity, because
they're not afraid to play each other.
Right. And you don't even have to wait a week or two. The amount of marquee matchups. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And they keep doing this. And now we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we were looking at the TV schedule. You're seeing how the major networks have responded to that. Now, all of a sudden, ESPN, ABC, NBC is now wanting to get involved in this because, hey, we don't have to wait for that random Big Ten Saturday night or Thursday night marquee matchup. We're getting these showcase tournaments where, whether it's a triangular or whether it's some type of volleyball classic tournament, these MTEs where the preseason top 25, you got maybe 7-8 of those teams that are all represented in these mixed tournament events. So it just, to me, I think it's another reason why volleyball is on the fast track.
So you talked about it, just the matchups in the top 25. Kentucky is in at number 7. Huskers face them on August 31st. Wisconsin at number 8. But Creighton in at 12. And that matchup at CHI coming up on Tuesday, September 16th. And then Utah is in at number 23. That matchup, September 12th, here at home inside the Devaney Center. Another notable, Nick, you and I talked about this back when we started to kind of hear some of the athletic directors sharing their plans for their rev share pie, and Texas A&M in at number 9, and Trev Alberts coming out and saying that we're going to put some investments into volleyball. And I know, Texas A&M isn't just coming out of nowhere, but I think right there at number 9 and the fast-growing sport, and Trev coming from here and understanding just how fast it grows and wanting to invest in that, there's Texas A&M in at number 9.
And I think you and I would probably both agree it's a smart investment, right?
Yeah.
Because this is, and where football has a lot of the resources that it does when it comes to their collective on top of what they're obviously going to put towards rev share, it behooves you, because we've seen the SEC from a conference standpoint with volleyball really start to improve their game, but I still feel it's a conference for the taking, to where Texas A&M feels like, hey, we want to put our mark on this conference, but we need the resources. You've got to have the backing, and that's not just the ability to recruit, but the ability to get recruits, because there's not only a destination and a track record of winning, but in some cases where you're trying to establish consistent winning programs, you've got to sweeten that pot. And in this day and age in collegiate athletics, that is some type of financial incentive. So if you know you're going to go to a place like Texas A&M that has tremendous athletic resources there and facilities to go on top of that, but you also have an investment into that sport, that could be a separator in a conference that is not nearly as deep as, say, the Big Ten is. And even in some cases, what we've seen the Big 12 show that it can be at times. So I think that's a wise investment. And I think you're right. I think that comes from a man who understands how popular not only the sport is right now, but how quickly fans can get behind that within your own fan base. I mean, Texas A&M is a very loyal, not only football fan base, but it's a very loyal Texas A&M Aggie athletic fan base. You get a winner in volleyball. Trev Alberts has seen firsthand how that can become a monster.
I mean, I know that that's a name that people don't love us throwing around, but you got to give him credit. He was the one behind, a big one behind the driving force behind that stadium match that ended up selling out. So I know that was near and dear to his heart, and now maybe he wants to take that over to Texas A&M. We've talked about this. Nebraska's not been shy to schedule tough in the non-conference to prepare them for the Big Ten. Big Ten, 7 teams ranked in the top 25. But one of the things that Dani Busboom Kelly brought up today in her press conference availability, which we're going to play a few of those cuts coming up after this segment. But she had just talked about, when you're going into a season and with the expanded roster, and sometimes you have to be careful about keeping people healthy and not pushing them too hard. But with how much talent that they have and the more bodies that they have in the gym, it's not as much of a concern, so they can push themselves even more here throughout camp leading up to that first match and feel like they're pretty competitive and ready to roll, as opposed to maybe having to take it a little bit easier, because you do have, you're wire to wire here when you start talking about what you open up with and then what you got to get through in the Big Ten, and then also make it through a run in an NCAA tournament. It is a long season. You're not building up to anything. You're getting right to it. And, I think it's been a luxury to have the competition, the talent, but just more bodies that you can maybe push a little bit more than maybe – I'm not saying that they haven't pushed in the past, but maybe in a different way, knowing that you have that depth in a different way.
It's interesting. I think it's such an art of threading that needle of how hard to push them, but also knowing that right out of the gate, the type of marquee matchups that you have, and now you understand that you have this preseason number one target on your back, that you're everybody's big match. And this is something, it's not new to this program. They embrace that opportunity.
Yep.
But I also think that if you're going to go a little bit lighter, knowing that maybe in certain years for other teams that your non-conference portion allows you to ramp up a little bit, you're able to ease into things a little bit. For Nebraska, they don't have that luxury, but I think they love that. They want to be able to find out what they have early on. They don't want to find out against Pitt. They don't want to find out against Stanford. They want to find out against some of their best alumni when they play that alumni match in 2 weeks, or this weekend with the red-white match. They're going to find out about their team before they hit the floor. And that, to me, is such a big luxury compared to a lot of other programs that are kind of on that level of Nebraska, that you have this supportive alumni base that has so many professional volleyball players that are willing to come back for a night to really challenge these young student athletes. So then Dani Busboom Kelly has a very solid observation and evaluation of this team and being able to figure out certain rotations and where certain players should fit in certain scenarios of a match. I think that's another thing we don't talk about as much because in athletics, don't we typically look at, and this is not just a football thing when we look at this, in volleyball, in baseball, in soccer, you can see some programs look at their non-conference as essentially their preseason. That's where they want to find out the most about their team. They know that even on a bad day, that if they're playing in a power conference, they should be able to beat up on the team that they're playing regardless of what they're trying to figure out with their current team. And that's something that can be very boring to your fans. Until you get into conference play, everything else is just kind of blah. But for Nebraska, for Penn State, for Wisconsin, for Pitt, for Louisville, for Kentucky, for all those teams that are going to get into the fire immediately, they need to know about their teams before they play those matches, because even as those other teams are trying to figure themselves out, they're going to exploit you pretty quickly. And sometimes those losses, those can put you in a little bit of a tailspin too early on if you have enough of them, even if it's against quality teams like that.
Okay, so I did want to get in this other bit of news today. The Omaha Supernovas announcing that John Cook is the co-owner and general manager. So Coach Cook not quite ready to completely hang it up, so stepping in there as the co-owner and general manager. That news coming out today. And, he had talked about in his media availability, his press conference, he's always wanted to grow the game, and he did that. He did that. He was a huge catalyst behind a huge growth in the last several years, and wanted to continue to build on that growth at the professional level, continue to provide more opportunities. And he said no better place than Nebraska. So Omaha Supernovas have been hugely supported, and Coach Cook stepping on there, that is a huge win for that franchise. And then League One Volleyball, the other major professional league, is locking in Jordan Larson as a part of their leadership group. So two of the biggest names in the sport hopping on to help continue to grow the league at the next level. And I mean, what a home run hire for both leagues and both kind of teams to be able to bring in people like John Cook and Jordan Larson to continue to help grow the game at the professional level.
I think it's kind of cool to see that, John Cook, amongst other coaches in college volleyball, have really put this sport at the collegiate level. And we were just talking about a moment ago on the popularity of it, the type of numbers it does TV-wise, the major networks getting in on the early action. A lot of that is because of coaches like John Cook and being able to, not only with what they've done with their own programs, but having that influence and being able to speak their mind on the things that they like about the sport and maybe the challenges that they need to address. So he goes on from college volleyball, where he was a major voice amongst the coaches in the sport and growing the game and its popularity. But now as professional volleyball is trying to find its footing, and really here locally in the state of Nebraska, especially with the Omaha Supernovas, and they've got a new coach as well, a Akrs Broadcast disciple as well, so that's pretty cool to see that you're still trying to grow that collectively in the professional game, and you've got two very solid leagues there that now you have John Cook making his influence known there and being able to help out and be in an advisory role. And I think that his influence and just his overall perspective and just the knowledge of the game and how you can grow it, obviously from a competitive standpoint on how you can help this Omaha Supernova team, but also that league in general, which has done so many good things really in the early stages of its inception, I think is awesome to see. But then having a Jordan Larson, which you have League One that is now going into its second year, Jordan Larson having played in League One last year with the Omaha team as well, her influence, her experience at the international level as well. There's just so much good volleyball wisdom on how to be as competitive and put out the best product you can, but also how to market it. I think there's a lot of different ways that they've seen probably things that have worked extremely well and things that haven't worked, but how to showcase and market all of these fantastic volleyball players and why people should come out and pay more attention to them. Those are two phenomenal additions at the professional level.
All right, I promised I would. I told you to remind me, but you didn't remind me, so I just thought of it myself. There was a question, someone in the chat, and I didn't get to it last night. I apologize about this, but wanted to know your thoughts, your perspective on all the sign stealing that's happening at the Little League World Series. What's your take on it?
So I think we felt we rid at least the major league level of it with the Astros scandal. And for anybody who thinks it's actually completely gone in Major League Baseball, you are very, very naive. You just find different ways to do it and try not to get caught. So what do they always say? It's always at the top where those trends start to work their way down. And usually these are good things, player safety and whatnot. And then that emphasis goes down to the youth leagues. This is one of those things that's probably not a great trend that worked its way from the top all the way down. But I can't pretend to know much about what Tulsa and Texas and their Little League organizations really try to promote. But this is something, unfortunately, I kind of laugh about it because when I played Little League ball and select ball, we would do knucklehead things to try to steal signs.
Yeah.
It existed all the time. And I think it was always considered to be a little bit more of that's kids being kids. There's nothing you're going to really do about it. If an opposing player warns you and tells you to stop, maybe you stop or you let your coach know, okay, they're on to us. But it was always kind of seen as just little boyish or little girlish behavior and nothing more than that. But now since that Astros sign stealing scandal, anything like that to try to gain an advantage is looked at almost in a way that needs to be dealt with, and ejections and suspensions, and a team should have to forfeit. And to me, that's too much because isn't that some of the fun things we like about Little League Baseball is how much they get into it, all the chants. And if they're trying to, pick a sign here and there, then they're going to try to do that because they're just trying to gain some type of advantage. Now, if you're using like electronics and you're getting very sophisticated and you're using things that have been banned by Little League Baseball, okay, that's a different conversation. But this uproar about it is laughable to me because we always used to do certain things like this until the other team told us that they were on to us, and then we would stop. I think there's a lot being made about this that needs to be, and I don't think it would be if what had happened to the Astros, if that didn't happen, I don't even think this would be any type of major topic.
That's my thing. If it's a runner on second stealing your signs, be better,
Exactly.
Change
That's on you.
Change up your signs. I don't know,
yes.
If it's you're going to like some crazy links, but if it's just someone that's on base that's stealing the signs, I'm sorry, that's on you.
We actually had one time, and this was actually in a high school game, and I applauded the coach for this, but I was going out to coach in the first base coach's box. As I was going out there, one of the coaches for the other team had walked by me when he was heading to his dugout, and he said, "Hey, by the way, we can see your catcher's signs from the dugout, so you might want to let him know just to maybe bring his hand up a little bit more closer to his stomach, because he's hanging it down low enough that we could see it underneath his legs." So he told us. And, I mean, a lot of coaches aren't going to do that. I applauded him for being honest, but if that was me and I saw that, I'm going to milk that. I'm going to say, hey, okay, guy don't realize it, but he's showing, okay, he's throwing a curveball there. Okay, he's throwing a fastball there. I mean, and we would probably figure out ways to communicate that with our hitters. So, again, unless you're using malicious tactics or electronics that have been banned, this is baseball. It's just part of it.
So I guess on that note, are you, as the head coach of this flag football team, trying to find ways to steal the other team's play calls?
It's funny. We were joking about this. We're all talking because there's a bunch of dads that are all helping out, and trust me, after our practice yesterday, we need it. We were talking about, okay, so who's gonna put the poster boards up? Are you gonna wear the blue cap? I'll wear the green cap. Who's giving the dummy signals, and who's actually gonna be the hot signal and everything? So yeah, we're taking it too serious, clearly. But I'll tell you what, if we can figure out if they're tipping off their plays, heck yeah, we're gonna be communicating that with our team. We're trying to win a thing.
Oh, good stuff. All right, hey, you're up for Joke of the Week tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
I've been rolling a few out. I've had a test audience in the car between my wife and my son, and so I'm seeing what works with them and what doesn't. So hopefully we'll land on one that'll just absolutely deliver gold tomorrow night.
Oh, cannot wait. We've been waiting for this for, 2 months now. So it is your time to shine. Joke of the Week with Nick Hanley coming up tomorrow night. Thanks for being here with us.
Absolutely.
Nick Hanley here with us on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Dani Busboom Kelly and her press conference today, where the Huskers are at throughout about a week through fall camp, and previewing the red-white scrimmage coming up on Saturday. So we'll hear from the head coach, Dani Busboom Kelly, coming up right after this.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Josh Ahrens in Kearney, Scott Vermas in La Vista, or Dennis Malloy in Bellevue today.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Love this text coming in on the text line from Eric in Lincoln. He said, if you don't want a runner on second stealing your signs, don't let a runner get on second. Preach. I mean, simple as that, right? I love it. I love it. Thanks for that text. All right, so red-white scrimmage coming up this Saturday. Dani, Busboom, Kelly, and a couple of the players met with the media today to preview the scrimmage and also talk about fall camp up until this point for Husker Volleyball and preseason #1 team in the country. So we're going to start with Dani was asked about having a scrimmage 2 weeks into camp, the thought process about that, and what she's hoping to get out of Saturday.
I think it's great. You know, I kind of told them it's kind of like a glorified practice, and we're doing fan day before it, so it should just be a really fun day for everybody. And a little different than in the past because we do have the alumni match to really use as our like dress rehearsal. So this is more of we should enjoy it. We'll have a lot of different teams, and I think it'll be a really fun event from start to finish.
It's funny, she was asked if she considered playing in the alumni match. She shut that down. She said, nope, I didn't want to play. I got that out of my system. So she will not be playing, but they do have quite the roster. So should be a fun matchup. But red-white scrimmage first, then the alumni match. So Coach was also asked about just where she thinks and how she feels about where this team is at this point in camp.
My thoughts haven't changed. You know, we're very talented, super fun group. They really show every day that they, number one, love volleyball, number two, want to win. And that's every person on the team. And it's really hard to think of a glaring weakness. Of course, we want to get better at certain things, but right now there's nothing that's sticking out that is scary going into the fall.
That is good to hear. Okay, Nick and I talked about this in the last segment, but just about the expanded roster, the having more numbers and the more competition. How has that affected camp so far?
It's made it more competitive. It's allowed us to not really hold back because we don't feel like we have to limit the middles, let's say, or we have to watch out for somebody getting overtired. We can really just structure practice how you want to structure it, and know we have the breaks are built in naturally, so we don't have to really think about building in breaks or limiting a certain player or position. We can just run it exactly how we want to, and all those things that you worry as a coach for longevity of the season are just working out naturally.
I keep saying camp, and I'm in football mode. I think I don't know if they consider it camp 2 or just preseason practices, but they're having competitive practices, that's for sure. So, we've heard a lot from this team, even when we going back to the conversation that I was able to have with Rebecca Alec in here back in May, and just that she wants to win a national title, and how bad it hurts. And even what she said on Big Ten Media Days, just that it haunts her, how close they've gotten and have not been able to come through. Same thing with Harper Murray. I mean, I think there's a lot of players that have been through it now a couple of years that they want to win that national title. So, but Coach Dani Busboom Kelly was asked today, why she thinks this is such a hungry team.
The way practices are, everything's a competition, and whether it's just a simple drill or an actual 6-on-6 drill, they take it very seriously. Also, the mindset in our morning practices, I feel like a lot of teams can go through the motions and that they know it's going to be light and a lot of first contact, but this team has taken those maybe even more serious than the afternoon practices. We did individuals yesterday, and I thought those were fantastic. Just the attention to detail, I think, is a sign of a very hungry team.
So this is another thing we've talked a lot about today. Number 1 team in the preseason rankings. And Coach was asked about this, but didn't know. So this was broken to her during the press conference. It was happening. I think the polls had come out right as the press conference had started, so she didn't know for sure going into it. But it's pretty fascinating when you hear who she voted for number 1. But she found out for sure who was number 1, but she was not surprised.
More like we'll talk about it. I didn't even know that, to be honest. I don't know when that came out. So, 10 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm not surprised. I mean, I get a vote, and I voted ourselves number 1. I think we're pretty talented. So we're going to talk about that and talk about what it means to be number 1, but we're not going to dwell on that or talk about it for more than about 10 minutes. But I also don't want to avoid it, and I don't think anybody on our team is going to be surprised that we're preseason number 1. I also don't think anybody believes that that's what we'll be in December, just because that's what we are right now, because they've been through it all.
Love that out of Coach. Okay, last thing we're going to play for you here in this segment is just how much fun is she having? She was asked about just the amount of fun that she's having with this group taking over this program.
That was great. I was just telling somebody this morning that it's just really fun to go into work every day. It's different every day. This team is fun. They're, like I said, they're hungry, they're motivated, and you don't ever feel like you have to push them in practice. So when you come to work, it's like everybody's going to be excited to be here and ready to work. There's no tug and pull or pushing that I need to do.
I love that. Great stuff there from Dani Busboom Kelly. So I've reached out, put in a request to get John Baylor on the air here coming up over the next couple of days. We could make it work today. I know he was over here today. I think he was taking in practice, but hopefully we'll be able to get him on here either tomorrow night or Friday to preview the season, talk red-white scrimmage. I don't think JB and Kyle have officially met either, so I told Kyle you're in for a treat getting to chat with John Baylor for the first time. So hopefully we can make that happen. We're going to work on it and see if we can get him on the show here over the next couple of nights. But again, red-white scrimmage coming up 2:30 on Saturday. We will have that for you here on the Huskers Radio Network with JB and Lauren Cook-West. I think they're still working out the details for sure on the pregame show, if it's an hour or 30 minutes for this one, but we will pass that information along when they have it settled. But we will have it for you here on the Huskers Radio Network, our first broadcast of the 2025 fall season. All right, we've got to get to a break. Coming up on the other side of this, we're going to hear from defensive lineman Elijah Jeudy. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
chiropractic.org. Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter Agent Travis Hawk in Scottsbluff, Jim Mowinkle in Gretna, or Shane Bernhardt in Norfolk.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Kyle and I were talking earlier. Husker football currently holding a practice right now. Kyle went out there. How did I get that short straw that he got to go to practice and I'm here in the studio? But no, I'm just kidding. So they, something that they've done the last couple of years, implemented a night practice just to be able to have the different elements, practice at night, get a feel for being with the lights, kicking, all that. So they're practicing currently, but yesterday after practice, I had a chance to catch up with one of the returning defensive linemen, expecting to take on a bigger role and being one of the leaders there up front for the Husker Black Shirts. So this, my conversation with Elijah Jeudy. Into week 2 for fall camp for the Huskers here with Elijah Jeudy. How does it feel? How are you feeling personally?
I feel great. We're getting into the second week. Acclimation week is done. Right now we can really start getting in. Since we got all our installs in, we can now get into playing fast and knowing our playbook.
You're just kind of talking about it. It can be when you're getting in the grind of things, maybe a little monotonous. How do you guys battle through that? And what's the key to kind of mentally getting past some of the things that maybe you're like, okay, can we play this thing yet?
Yeah, it's like fall camp, it does get a little repetitive, but you just can't get bored with the fundamentals. You got to keep pushing every day, even when you don't got it. I mean, you can look to your left, your right, and see your brothers and know what they're fighting for, so they just give you the motivation and energy to fight for them.
I just talked to Riley Van Poppel just about the D-line and overall the progression. How do you feel about where you guys are at and just the group as a whole?
Yeah, I feel like we're coming on really great. The young guys are starting to come up with us. We're starting to push them. For example, like Cade, that's what really stood out to me. He's been playing real fast. He's been getting on block. He's been pass rushing great. And even though our other young guys that's hurt right now, they're still getting in their playbook. They know what they're supposed to do, so they're taking their mental reps. And for them, when they come back in the spring, they'll be ready to go.
The chemistry between the unit too. I mean, we talked to Rocco about this last week with the offensive line, but the guys up front, and I know you guys rotate a little bit more, but how important is that? Just knowing the guy beside you and having that trust and camaraderie beside you. Yeah, we got to have that bond, especially when we're in games and we got to pass rush. We got to know how the person next to us pass rush so they be able to work off of that. Like for example, me and Cam have a connection to where I know what moves he likes to hit, so I'm trying to base my moves off of his. So if he goes one way, I can try to make him right if something happens. Nash and Ty would talk about this. That's a real thing where you're playing somebody that you've played alongside for a long time. You can kind of feed off of their game. Yeah, definitely. Even though that too, we learn from each other. So if he got a move that I want to learn, he'll teach me. Same thing, vice versa. So yeah. We've seen your family around and getting to go to practice. What does that mean to you to get to see them out there every day? That's everything. That's my motivation. When I'm down at practice and I don't feel like doing it, I just look over and just remember why I'm doing this and why I'm here. What does it mean to you that they're allowed to come, that it's open for them to be able to come and watch it? That doesn't happen everywhere. Yeah, it means a lot. Not a lot of schools will let families come to every practice, and for Coach Rule to make that accommodation just shows how much he really cares for me. Going back to the bowl game last year, I was chatting with you just about your desire to come back and felt like unfinished business. What were some of the things that you did leading up to fall camp to make sure that you're putting yourself in that best position? Right now, I was just getting stronger in the weight room, getting my stamina right, getting faster. That was really the main improvements that I really wanted to make, and being able to play double teams and run better. How has it felt for you to be kind of like that guy up front and be the leader and taking on just such a bigger role for this defense? It's a lot, but there's a way you have to go about it, and I feel like I've been going about it pretty well. I think there's some stuff I can fix to be a better leader, but as of right now, I feel like it's going pretty well. Just the defense coming together as a whole with the new coordinator. I know Coach Butler's been around, but how has that progressed? Riley was just saying that you guys basically have everything installed, but I guess how do you continue to grow and come together and just the defensive line, the linebackers, and the back end? Right now for us it's just staying in the playbook, going over it every day. Like I said, it can get repetitive, but you just got to keep going through it. And then now at this point of fall camp, it's just to the point where we need to just play fast. Describe the battles between you guys and the offensive line. It gets pretty treacherous, because we all want to be great. Iron sharpens iron. If you want to be the best, you got to go against the best. I personally feel like we have the best O-line in the Big Ten right now, so for us to go against them is just going to make us better. Yeah, I was going to say, how tough are they now that they're full strength? You got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football together. Yeah, it surprised me, I'm not going to lie, at first, but now it's just like they're good. Like, there's nothing really much I can say. They're great. I feel like we have the best interior. We got Rocco, Justin, and Henry, and they just great guys. That's the guys I go against every day, so yeah. With Coach Butler taking over, I mean, what are some of the differences? Is there much difference? And how comfortable do you guys feel in the defense? I feel real comfortable. The only difference is I feel like this time around we're way more aggressive, and I love it. We get to move around up front a lot. We got a lot of blitzes coming through, so yeah, I love it. All right, just take us through the rest of fall camp. What does day by day look like for this defense to be where you want to be come kickoff? We just gotta keep stacking days. When we're in meetings, just attention to details. When we're at practice, have deliberate practices, knowing that what we want to work on. So when the season comes, we got everything that we need. Great stuff. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Get Elijah Jeudy joining us here on Sports Nightly when we were having the conversation with Damon Benning earlier, and Kyle talking about just that rotation. There's a number of guys, and Jeudy certainly is a guy that they need to have bigger role, bigger impact, and kind of lead the way up front. And I know he's played a lot with the ones, but I think you're gonna see a lot of different guys run in and out of that defensive line. So hopefully they can continue to build that depth and have those numbers that we've talked a lot about going back to last year and how fresh Nash and Ty were at the end of the season, and how well Ty was able to play at the bowl game, how good he felt because he didn't have to take as many snaps as maybe he had in years past. So hoping they're building the numbers like they've had and be able to utilize a number of different guys up front so they can stay fresh throughout the entire grind of a season. All right, got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up the show next.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Welcome back. Final segment here, Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Just got a couple minutes left with you here tonight. Coming up tomorrow night's show, we're going to continue our newcomer series. I'm going to chat with the final 2 newcomers to Nebraska women's basketball. So hoping to bring you Haley Weaver, a conversation with her, the senior guard, the transfer out of Northwestern. So some Big Ten experience there. Hoping to bring you that conversation tomorrow night as well. I also had a chance to chat with Jeniron Bonner recently. We'll bring you that conversation. And working on John Baylor. We'll see. Little maybe fluid situation here on Sports Nightly and what tomorrow night looks like. But the next availability for football will be Friday morning. So we'll be able to bring you some more press conference. I should have looked up who it is that's scheduled. Sorry about that. I don't even know who's scheduled, but we'll have another football availability coming up on Friday. So press conferences, interviews there. They've had several of those. I feel like, just by the time we run through some of the interviews that I've been able to do, it's time to get some more. So we'll bring you that on Friday. But hopefully John Baylor will be here with us tomorrow night, and hoping Kyle can be a part of that one with me. And the big news coming up tomorrow night is that Nick Hanley will be stepping in for Joke of the Week. Nick's been such a huge help for us here, really over the last 6-7 months. He's a guy that Greg recommended to step in and help us out, and he has just been fantastic with a lot going on and has been so helpful. And I think even with Kyle stepping in and being able to get acclimated and fill out what everything is like around here and being part of the show. So coming up on Monday, Kyle's going to be joining me full-time here on the show. So got a couple days left with Nick. Nick's still going to be a part. Nick's going to help us out throughout the season, but Kyle will be stepping in more full-time coming up on Monday. So Nick said it back, a couple months ago, that when his time is winding down, he wants to deliver the Joke of the Week. So tomorrow is that night for Nick Hanley. It's his time to shine. He's been talking like he's got a good one to deliver, a couple that he's going through. So we will see how it goes. So tune in for Nick Hanley's Joke of the Week coming up tomorrow night. I thought this was going to be the last one. Kyle apparently likes a segment. We might not get rid of it because now Kyle wants to deliver Joke of the Week. David, you got people fighting over Joke of the Week segment, but who knows? I keep saying it's coming to an end, but then it keeps extending. So we'll see how long we keep it going. But big one tomorrow night with Nick Hanley delivering Joke of the Week. All right, it's going to do it for me. Thanks to David and Henry and Nick and Kyle, Josh, everyone for helping me out on this one, and have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons